at it once again with What I Got Wrong. But we got to check out this little clip. Check this clip out, Mr. Jaleel.
I'm pleased to make your acquaintance.
Why, thank you.
I'm not really, but it would be gauche to say otherwise.
Now, look, I want to give props to the great, the legend, the icon that is Jaleel White, okay?
Michelle Thomas, rest in peace. You know, she played Myra. Michelle will always have a special place in my heart. And I like to let fans know, if Michelle was alive, I probably would have done a multi-camera version of
TV show. We're trying to get a Family Matters reboot popping. That will make my whole life.
Listen, we keep trying to tell people we need the fans to be vocal about it. In particular, hit up Warner Brothers. So just hit up all of the Warner entities and be like, hey, we want that show. We want to bring it back.
Oh, that's cool. I'm dying to see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's me.
You saw that Jaleel, you know, he kind of put it out there, let fans know, hey, I'm a fan. He let me know. He let me know that, you know, he don't really feel like he really want to do it without the late, great Michelle here. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, on the personal level, respect, okay? But let's think about this for a second. I really want to think about this for a second. Could Family Matters come back without the Irk man? I know it sounds crazy. I know. No. I know. Guys. Okay, I've said it before that I have never been a Steve Urkel fan. I've said that repeatedly. I've never been a Jaleel White, excuse me. I've never been a Jaleel White fan. So I'm kind of coming from that standpoint. I've always said that I've always been a Laura fan. She was the one that inspired. She was the one that kept us watching. She was the one that we're running this Run Tell That to. It was her. You know, so I want to make sure that I come from that honest standpoint. Okay, TV is consumed very differently, you know, than it was then. Number one, right? That's a whole nother thing too, right? You have BET, you have Bravo, you have Centric, you have TV One, you have Hulu, you have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have and there's so many other ones. You have Peacock. There's so many other ways now, right? It does not have to come back to I think we're looking at it. We're thinking, can Family Matters only be successful? And I think we're thinking about it on the level of it going back to ABC. That is not going to happen. Most sitcoms that come back and reboot are not going to go back to their natural habitat. You feel what I'm saying?
You know, and then Sean and Kelly and myself, you know, Cherry Johnson, that's my boo, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's the wifey. So, you know, Cherry, she on board regardless. So we working on some things. It wouldn't be a reboot. It'd be a remix. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe they don't have to bring Family Matters back to bring back the Winslows. So say Steve and Laura got 2 little boys, you know, and Steve is in some major project that keeps him away from home often. He's off at work, whatever job that is. There's a lot of people, and that's what I think a lot of people could relate with that. Like, man, I told you, I got a friend right now that's like totally relate. You know what I'm saying? And then you can kind of have it, you know, maybe showing where Laura, you know, maybe you can have it to where, you know, Laura, you know, is the show can be kind of centered around her being basically a single mother trying to raise 2 boys. And maybe you can even have it to where the boys, you know, are a lot like their daddy. You know what I'm saying? They're a lot like Papa. And, you know, maybe they're having issues at school, you know, not fitting in. And maybe, you know, you have it to where Laura is not only struggling to be a single mother, but struggling on how to deal with that. Because let's remember, Laura was kind of there with Steve, but she didn't necessarily experience what Steve experienced, right? So you can kind of have that story. I think a lot of people will relate with that. You know, where you're seeing her struggle as a single mom. She's missing her husband. She's feeling alone. Her boys are growing up. You know what I'm saying? You know, without their dad being there every day. And she has to figure out how to deal with that. And you got Uncle coming in, you know, with, you know, Uncle Eddie coming in. Like, you know, Urkel is no longer there. I think to bring a splash back to the show is, I would say, bring back Jamie. Bring back Sis. You know what I'm saying? Back on it. Like, wait a minute. They bringing back the daughter, they bring back Sis, and now she's older, she can support, and they can kind of support each other. You're getting those moments, you know, those Family Matters moments and things like that in there. But what you can do is you can rebrand it, right? You can rebrand it, because here's the reality of why some sitcoms come back and they reboot and they're successful and why others don't. Because guys, bringing back Family Matters and just focusing on the audience that was once there is not, the show's going to still fail. And this is the other thing to think about. With Jaleel there is not a guarantee, or Urkel there is no guarantee that the show would succeed with them anyway. There's no guarantee of that. There's no guarantee with anything, right? So
irreplaceable. And as far as the Urkel thing goes,
but I think Jo Marie, I think we right here, but I think, is she about to say what she about to say? Hold on. I'm loving this.
I love that little boy too, but you know something? We started Family Matters without him.
Who?
Yeah, that is true.
And we can do Family Matters again without him. If you want to do it, I just tell the truth.
In a new audience, and I think that's what Family Matters could do. And maybe, guys, check it, not call it Family Matters, rebrand it into it something, and maybe you can call it The Winslows, right? Or maybe you can call it something else that comes on BET, that comes on OWN, that comes on TV One, and rebrand it. Call it something different. And look at it and say, hey, we're looking for a different audience anyway, right? We're not looking, can we keep it real? Can we keep it a buck for a second? We're not looking for the Urkel audience. We're trying to build a different audience, right? Fuller House had to do that. Look, we're not looking for Olsen Twin audience because they're not coming. So we got to build a new audience. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, think about it. Full House. They didn't come back as Full House. It came back as Fuller House. That is a different branding. Now, let's go. I'm looking at, right? And to me, now we see that this is Full House, right? We just switch it over just a little bit here. Now you have Fuller House. It's new. It has a new name. It's branded new. And I don't think Fuller House was bringing in the ratings that Fuller House, that Fuller House was bringing in the ratings that Full House was. But again, it's about expectation. What is your expectation that this show is going to do? You know, and that's the thing that I think that we need to look at. The reality of the show, this, like, look at the rebranding of this, okay? The Conners, just look at this from what it went. Now this is older, but I mean, just look at the difference in it, right? Versus the Conners. They rebranded, they reached out to a whole different audience. And what's crazy about it is there's fans that, you know, look at this, man, look at this, that are watching the Conners. Honestly, they probably did not watch the Roseanne show. Remember, it was called Roseanne. They were bringing in 18, to 10 million views. They go and kick the woman off her own show. And what did the Conners do? They rebranded themselves and called themselves the Conners. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing to look at. What I would say is I went and looked at some of the ratings on the Conners. And I think I think their best that they were getting was like 4 to 5 million, which is still pretty good, but when you're looking at 10 to 18 million, and also too, I would still say on the same network, that's pretty good, guys. This is unprecedented what the Conners are doing right now. Check this. This, remember, for some of you that watched my videos, that one of the things that I said was so surprising is how divided Family Matters fans actually are, right? There are that think that Steve Urkel actually ruined the show. But there is a large amount of fans of Family Matters that will tell you they could do just fine without the Steve Urkel character. They liked it more before he got there, which baffles my mind. But it is a reality. And that's just something I think we need to think about, is that not every Family Matters fan is a Steve Urkel fan. It's just something to think about. Maybe, you may be saying like, wait a minute, you talking about the Steve Urkel character not being there. What about Stephen Lord? And I'm like, I'm going to say this again. I am a Steve and Laura fan. I love Stephen Lord. As a matter of fact, the only way that I really paid attention to Urkel is because he was around Laura, and I just grew to love that beauty. That is such a beautiful love story. The love story between Steve and Laura. There's nothing else like it.
I think it's season 10 where Laura and Steve were supposed to get married, right?
See, this is what I'm saying. I love this. See, people, Jalil's like, it was the chase. No, people want to see a Steve and Laura wedding, man. This is.
We hope for a revival or a reboot where you all are grown, you have your lives now, we see Steve and Laura together.
I'm going to defer to Kelly. I cannot confirm.
And I was going to say, Jalil is not doing it, so no.
Well, no, it's not. No,
is that official?
Years old all the way up to adulthood, going through the struggles and the trials and figuring it out, talking it out, you know what I'm saying, forgiving, you know, apologizing. It's such a beautiful story. But as to come back and show that, I would love to see what type of chemistry Kelly and Jaleel would have now. I don't think it went anywhere because I really think it was from God, to be quite honest with you. So I bet you it is still there, you know, but it doesn't sound like he's on that train. So we got to go with the train that's moving. And, you know, just looking at it as a whole, it's like, you know, don't let people hold you back in something that you want to do. You know, like in the reality, should they not do Family Matters because Jaleel doesn't want to do it? And you know what I'm saying? And I think it's just the same thing that we saw when it came to Judy. Should they not do it because they got rid of... I'm trying to preach to y'all real quick, but, you know, it reminds me of Noah. Y'all remember Noah in the Bible? Noah had never built anything ever before. And God had him build an ark, right? Where did Noah learn how to build an ark? There was never one built before. You get what I'm saying? You may be the first one that has the idea. You may be the first one that does what you're looking. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I don't have a prototype to look. Noah didn't either. Hard, go do it. Just go do it. You know, even if you halfway do it, you're going to figure it out.
Promotion every year on your job. No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal. It's not.
It doesn't exist. Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. What does it mean?
I think a lot of times we don't move because for two reasons. One, we think we need somebody else. And two, we're scared to fail. And I agree with that 100%. Is like, you can't, if you think about it in life, you can't really fail if you learned, right? If you're riding a bike, you're learning how to ride your bike. See, we don't grab this mentality till we get older, right? When we're learning to ride our bikes and you fall off your bike, you just stop and like, I failed. No, you get back up and you try again and you adjust. Like, okay. Failure does not exist. And so that's what I'm saying when it comes to, you know, your goals, your dreams, the things that you've been sitting on to go do. Maybe it's to go back to school. You know, maybe it's to that project that's just been sitting in your soul. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's to go reconcile a relationship. You know, but if you have the mindset of, you didn't say there's no losses, only lessons. You know, you can have that type of mentality. There's not failure. There's only growth, you know, and that's why I want to just encourage. And hopefully, man, we get to see something, you know, with these guys. Because like I said, you know, I think Kelly, Darius, and Joe Marie, they already have their own streaming service. So maybe we can get this whole thing back together, you know, and like we said, name it, claim it, you know what I'm saying? Brand it into something different. You never know what could happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, love God, love people. May God bless you. May God keep you.